Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon in Flat Earth Homeland and Jersey's Woman of the Woods. Okay. Oh, I hate to even say it or admit it, but I had this thing all fixed up, and the person who... let me lay down an old saying. I don't know how old it is, but it was taught to me by a guy that I showed how to make an upside-down fire. And he said that it was a stupid idea. And after he watched it for a little while, he went, it was the most amazing thing he'd ever seen. And he was an Eagle Scout. That's not, now I'm just taking him at his word that he was an Eagle Scout. Okay, that is saying a lot. He knew a lot about woodcraft, a lot about the outdoors. And he taught me something. He said, for the next half an hour, I had to hear him say, "Wow, this is awesome. This is great. I'm so glad you showed me this. I'm just, just amazed by it." Well, anyway, he taught me, don't mess with another man's fire. Okay. And here we have a situation where I've been doing 90% of the work. I split all the wood. All the last 2 loads of wood we got, I split them all by myself. And I've been bringing in 90% of the wood. So I did 100% of the splitting, hauled 95% of it in here, and I've been keeping both fires going. So whose fire is it? Is it the guy that owns the broken down grate with huge holes in it that lets everything drop into the bottom and doesn't make any heat for the house, or is it the person who's feeding the fire? Well, I had a grate system in here last year, and it worked awesome all last year. And he'd even commented to me saying, "Wow, last year the stove worked so much better, and I could walk up to it and warm my hands up. Now I can hardly do that." Well, there's other mitigating factors on both ends of this regarding blood circulation and the addition of anything other than water, shall we say, caffeine, alcohol, etc., etc. Water hydrates, nothing else does. Everything else dehydrates. So that's one issue. The other is just the thinking capacity. So I had a nice grate system, and he pulled it all out. And I came up with another one this year that I thought was just perfect. It had nice little 1-inch by, about 1/8-inch slots in it. And you could just run the shovel, the flat shovel. The shovel here has a flat edge because it has to go all the way back to the, way back in there. So he handmade one, designed it and whatnot. So it goes all the way back in there. And so you could just run it right over it, and everything would drop through. The ashes would drop through, the coals would stay on top and produce heat. So as it has been the last couple of days, every time a coal falls through there, it's not producing heat for the stove or the house. And the ash pan was so hot I couldn't even touch it. It was cooking the ash pan, but not the house. So anyway, I'm going to put this... This thing's pretty well shot. It's been there for a couple of years, but I'm going to put it back in there. And if it comes out, then I'm pretty well done with the stove. Hauling wood, cutting wood, or anything. It's just hardly not worth putting wood into. Right now, it's burning twice the wood and producing, I'm thinking about 1/3 to maybe half of the heat. So it's just how much money can you waste, and how much time and effort do you want to spend doing work that you really don't have to do? It's just not smart, in my opinion. So I'm going to put that grate in. Now, at least that'll keep the... but see, that's about burned through there. It's getting pretty brittle from being bounced up down where you see that little lip there curled up a little bit. That's from grabbing it with the poker while it's hot and shaking it, which is good. That lets the ashes drop down to the bottom, keeps the coals up. So, but I would prefer to see a lot finer mesh than that. The mesh on my stove that I have in the trailer is like 1/16 of an inch, and it worked perfectly for 3 weeks. I never took any ashes out. By the time after 3 weeks, I checked down below the grates, nothing. So, okay, I'm going to load up a upside down fire and forget fire. Alrighty, got 4 across the bottom, and then some diagonals in there, and just roughly thrown in, and I'm going to fill it on out now.